Not what I wanted to hear when you started, but hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Instantly slammed with that monetization.
Like I give a shit about that. Oh, and let me crack a demon one. And by demon one, I imply monster. Not hashtag not sponsored. Though I fucking wish. That'd be cool.
I was thinking of cracking a monster, but right now I got this Mountain Dew to chug down.
Ugh. That is a cold one with the boys. It's not really cold, but I also want to see really fast because I have the benefit of having more than just a few stat blocks. So let's
Not
go.
gonna lie, I'm getting really into Doom soundtracks.
Hey, it's good as shit.
hmm Fucking playing games, having Doom in the background. Fucking walking around, having Doom in the background. Really no day when I'm not listening to Doom.
Alright, I gotta go find a good one really fast. There, that'll do. Alright.
Is it Doom?
No,
Then I'm not listening to it.
it's me. I wasn't doing music, I
Oh.
was looking for stat blocks.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
playing music. Then I was gonna about
Well, I
to.
am playing music, but I
Oh
assumed
no
you
no
were.
no! Like I thought you were gonna switch music because if you were, and if it was Doom, then I was gonna pause my Doom.
Yeah, I'm playing music right now. I will be sure to change it as is appropriate.
All right.
Okay, so
Fucking, I don't got my equipment down. Oh, bear with me.
you don't have your equipment.
No.
It'll be
Fucking,
fast.
yeah.
Yeah. So to go ahead and fill it out, I'll go ahead and start us off. Okay. Okay. Gotta make sure I find the right one. I believe. Oh, that's a little too quiet. Alright. So, first, we will begin with your character. Would you like to introduce them in a very specific way, how they look? Or do you just kind of want them to think what they want as the story goes on?
Think as I want until I actually get killed them.
Alright. So, we begin this adventure coming down on a. Don't want to call it a drop pod because that wouldn't be right. It is a Valkyrie, that's what it is. You are a inquisitorial acolyte. Would you like to say your name?
They call me Ryan.
Call you Ryan. So, Mr. Ryan, you are being flown down into a world called Gisaro. I will go ahead and spell it in chat. And Gisaro is a very unique world in that it is 99% water across the entirety of the surface. The 1% of land is scattered about in various islands, usually no more than maybe a couple hundred meters. I mean, they're incredibly small. The real terrain sits below the depths of the water, near the very bottom of it.
Small planet, if you ask me.
Actually, the planet in and of itself is probably about the size of Jupiter.
Pretty small.
Oh, pretty small. Um, when you first go down, it is a very rough and rugged entry into the atmosphere. You feel the hull of the cabin shake. You feel yourself. You feel the G's that are pressed upon your body as the servitor in command of the ship comes down as hard and fast as he can without turning you into jelly, but also so you can make haste. Because as you have been you've been sit down to observe what is going on in this planet. As there was a very large, very spread out facility hidden beneath the depths in the water, with different sections studying different things, but in general, it was a study of warpcraft to some degree or another. How to utilize it, how to make new Jeller engines, things of that nature. So,
Given given that we're not crashing per se, but going downwards, I would like, since I am not proficient but skilled per se,
mm,
in no, what is it called? Psychology, physiology, the fucking psi tree that deals with human skin.
biomancy?
Yeah, biomancy. Since I'm not really, I want to use a smaller version of invigorate, so I don't get distorted as much once we land.
Okay. So you can go ahead and roll the first check of the game. Make a willpower check to see if you can succeed and increase your physical toughness. Make sure you don't liquefy and that you can handle any extra G's that can be thrown at you.
Yes.
Your physical toughness.
Hey.
So
What?
it doesn't go well. You attempt to manifest the power, but being shaken about the cabin, you can't really feel what's going on. It just does as it does. You take it the best you can. Go ahead and make me a toughness check. Let's see just how tough you take it.
Oh, play toughness check. All right. I'm rolling shit tonight.
Yeah, you are. So, give me 1 second here, because I want to think. I want to think a little bit. All right. So, you take it the best you can. Other than minorly throwing up, maybe getting a little case of whiplash, but nothing serious, you take it
I
relatively well. You're a bigger individual, so the G's are more spread out across your hulking mass. And when you are dealing with the G's, other than it pressing upon your stomach, making you to hurl a little, you don't take any damage. You're generally okay. So, with that being prefaced, it eventually hits the water, but the servitor guides it in such a almost graceful sort of way that he pulls up and lets it break the stream of water and then dips below the surface, almost like a dolphin. And that allows you to enter the water without crashing the hull of your ship, because that would be bad. Then you hear the clanking of metal, and the gears of the Valkyrie switch as it goes from aerial and spatial to now nautical mode, as this is a specially designed ship specifically to get this facility.
So something that could actually fucking allow me to hold myself since we're at a steady pace, correct?
Yeah, it can take an extreme amount of pressure. You can sit on the railings in your seat. Even if you want to stand, you should be able to generally keep your balance at this point. I guess to describe the cabin, it's not very big. I mean, there is the cockpit, which is literally just a small box with a servitor inside, arms and legs severed, connected with wires, everything from the brainstem, arms, legs, all that is done. And then there is the actual cabin, which has the classic cargo bob bridge lower. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
So on the general craft, you know how cargo holds have the doors that go up and down and are based off hydraulics and all that good stuff.
Oh, it's one of them ships, right?
Yeah, the Valkyrie
Fucking
has that built into the back, so if you need to roll out equipment and things of that nature, it's plausible.
So it's like we could be able to jump out the back like one of those good
Like
old movies.
paratroopers. Yep.
Alright, I'm
And
good.
the thing is normally this is what that craft would be used for. It would be used both for the Elysian jumpers if it was a standard Valkyrie, but this Valkyrie in particular is normally used to transport needed food and supplies, but only in small quantities, like a passing by rogue trader that has something that the facility wants. And it is put on a list and an algorithm. The algorithm is sent out. Something comes in, their inventory is traded and received if allowed, and then a request is put in, and then it is their job to drop it in. Though there's also standard ships that come through very often, and they drop this specialized ship. Normally it's sent
Also,
up, not down, but there's an exception here.
no, earlier last night you said I could request for equipment like grenades, right?
Yes, if you want, you can make a influence check, and provided you roll either 2 degrees of failure or less, you can get common and plentiful equipment. That's
Hey,
perfect. With that, you should be able to get generally rare, though I will make exceptions as to what you're actually allowed to get.
well,
Like,
right now I'm just looking for weapon modifications.
you can get some weapon modifications. I will allow you 2, whether it be ammunition or like laser sights, that sort of a gig.
Alright, also, can I have a backpack so I can increase my carry weight?
It won't
Well,
increase your carrier weight as
what can then?
um I would say a backpack might increase it by no more than 5 to 7 kilograms, so I will allow it. But generally, it's you getting bulkier.
Well, I'm bulky as fuck.
Yeah, you are an exceptional massive man. I guess go ahead and describe a generalization of how you see your character.
A
'Cause I'm curious.
rucksack. A rucksack that. Alright. Fucking. You know the army rucksacks?
Yeah,
Alright. It's practically like that. Except for. Alright. You know bodybuilders
I know
as well?
bodybuilders.
Let's go with that physical physique, except for a little bit slimmer because I've been mostly trained to be a psycher, not a bodybuilder. However, since I'm just naturally fit, it's like that. Like, all right, it's not like I'm fucking inhumane, not like a fucking space marine, but it's more or less a little bit more humane compared to a bodybuilder, you know?
Yeah, I
All
understand.
right, so it's like that physique. Now, do you take that physique and then make him, let's say, 6'2"?
You want to go 6'2"? All right. A
Yeah.
little bit shorter than you are.
Well, yeah, but well, that's what I'm imagining right now.
All right.
Because I'm not like a fucking space marine, but I am abnormally large.
This is true.
All right.
You're not quite
So,
as big as an Ogren, but you could definitely, probably with your build, give an Ogren a run for their money.
all
So,
right.
as you
And then a
begin
rucksack
a
that's
rucksack,
fitted for me.
I will give you plus 10 kilograms because it is specifically a rucksack. That is what they're made for. So, you can use that to give yourself plus 10 carrying weight. Plus 10
Do I add
kilograms.
that to the modifier?
Yeah, but put it like in plus parentheses max carry weight. For the most part, I will not have you do rations because I'm gonna assume a week worth of rations is not gonna be more than maybe 2 kilograms. That's about 6 pounds. And I assume well, I don't know, maybe your character would eat more. Nah, it's fine. And I'll say this is a week's worth of rations. And this includes water as well. And every time you sit to have a ration, it applies water and food to help simplify it. That way we don't be like, oh, you have 8 ounces remaining. Oh no! But you have like 7 spaghettis left. No, we're not fucking with that shit again. So, As we go on here, I want you to imagine as you begin to go down, you see a ginormous facility. The lights on the Valkyrie turn on, and you go at least 250 foot deep before you start to see the peak of the facility. So this facility is huge.
All right. Are they do can I roll for something to see if they're depressing or decompressing air so I could be naturally good with this? Because you know how fucking the more like how
Yeah.
fast you go through water, you're not gonna be
I'll say
pressure. There we go, pressure.
since you are still in the cabin of the Valkyrie and you're looking through what might as well be slits or no more than the cockpit up front, maybe a couple cameras on the side, you can't really see from that quality
Oh,
whether no,
I thought that we landed on land and then we fucking went to an elevator and now we're going underground.
nope, you were going it effectively nosedived from space into the water and is now going beneath the water.
Interesting.
Yes, this is a highly modified Valkyrie. This is probably the only. There's probably no more than maybe 50 of these things made, with 40 of them being in this facility. This
Then
is
I'm
one of the
gonna
ones
trust.
reserved.
Then I'm gonna trust this Valkyrie to handle this shit due to the fact that it came out of space and it's fucking automatically pressurized.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
as you are moving through the water flushing around the Valkyrie, you hear the creaks and moans as the pressure intensifies upon the hull. Not giving, but merely settling. You see this ginormous facility, and if I had to put it into a scale, take the Grand Valley here in Grand Junction, Colorado, and its surrounding areas, and this facility probably dwarfs a good portion of it. I mean, it's huge. So, as it goes lower and lower, you kind of see more and more of the facility. Normally, it would have lights in certain places, and it would show a variety of noise. You would probably see little servitors modified for aquatic environments buzzing around the facility to ensure repairs and structural hull. It's dead. There is nothing. There is not even the peep and squeak of what would be a motor turning. And as you go closer and closer, you see that this facility not only is dead, but it has a remarkably lack of windows.
So shit's fucks.
Yeah, the windows are non-existent, so you can't see into the facility. And then you finally reach a hangar. You've probably gone roughly 400 feet deep now, and have finally arrived at the first hangar. Its doors have been modified so it's on the bottom, so it creates an air pocket above, so the Valkyrie can fly under and simply go up. And these doors, I want you to go ahead and make me a scrutiny check.
Wow. Where's my scrutiny? Oh, wait, no, that's secure. Oh, there it goes. All right. Nice.
5 on a 9. That is impressive, sir. I will. So, you manage to see it as through one of the little slits on the Valkyrie. It goes up and up and up, and as you look out the sides, you see that the doors have been almost gorged out, as if something's claws reached into it and have forcibly pulled it apart.
Man, I want to wrestle with that shit,
And
as my character said to himself.
and the doors aren't like completely torn apart or torn off the hinges, but it's just like a noticeable indentation in the doors. If it were to close, there would easily be 3-ish holes that it's not completely sealed. And as you surface above, the lights are dim, but they're on. There are a few lights here and there spread out, and you have arrived in what is Hangar Alpha Omegon. This is generally their trade dock, but hence why it is Alpha Omegon Praetoris. In other words, super important. It is how they get their food, their water, or any tools or other. It's not the only dock they can achieve this, but this is the first and fastest one, which, as this is an Adeptus Mechanicus facility, it is primed on efficiency. Not so much that they didn't have failsafes, but this is a good portion of it. So, you go up, and the doors are then... Your Valkyrie is turned around slowly, and your doors go down just enough to meet with the dock. So you can now vacate the ship. So, do you vacate the ship?
Hold on.
Oh, by the way, I should preface this. You get a flashlight for free. Its batteries aren't infinite, but they're fairly deep. So, unless you have this on for 72 plus hours, it'll be fine.
What type of flashlight does it take shape in?
It's gonna be weird to hear this. Literally, you plug in a las pack. It might as well be a las pistol, but instead of a barrel, it's a literal light.
Then can I have a holster, well not a holster, but a pack that's attached to my rucksack strap?
Specifically for it?
Yeah, so I could
That's
just literally just clip it on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright.
And the reason why this one was made specifically this way was because, given the facility you're going to, this makes it more suitable for aquatic. Naturally, it's easier to aim 2 pistols than a flashlight that might run out of hand. Now you have something you can at least hit someone with while also shooting them. It is also sturdy enough to do that, but it counts as an improvised weapon. But an extra, like, -1, so it's 1d10 -3. It does give a good thwacking, though.
Alright. This may be fucking excessive, but 2 things that I want to ask for. A melee attachment and auxiliary grenade launcher.
Okay, you can't get an auxiliary grenade launcher, but if you want to just strap a knife to your flashlight, I see no reason as to
No, I want to strap a knife to my staff.
To your staff? That would turn it into a spear.
No, I thought... Alright. Give me more time.
Okay, so...
There's not literally going to be a blob just floating around, walking around. It's character creation, baby. But let's continue.
For now, we'll preface on what you have. And plus, you only used one of the 2 items I allotted you for your,
Oh, I allotted? That means...
Yeah, so, like, one of them's used, one of them isn't. So you still have another one. So you have time to think on it. I just...
Got it.
If it's a bolter or anything above that, no. But if you just want to take it like a chain sword, I don't care. That's fine.
A chain sword?
I would let you take a chain sword.
That piqued my interest. I'll take a chain sword.
Okay, so you don't have to look it up, I just so happen to have stats on hand.
What the fuck?
Don't worry about it.
Alright.
So, it is a chain sword. Its classification's melee, range is melee. Its damage is 1d10 plus 2 rending. Its penetration is also 2. Its weight is 6 kilograms, and its special is balanced as well as tearing.
6 kilograms worth. Okay, kg. And then it is balance, and tearing.
Yes, sir. What that means is you get a +10 to parry checks. +10 or +5, I have to look it up if we get to it. And then you have... Let me pull up the rules really fast. And then tearing is you roll twice and take the higher result. So, let me double check.
Man, I should be...
Yeah, 10 for parry checks. So, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine.
So, as you walk out of the Valkyrie and take a look around your surroundings, you see a general dock that has been pushed out as a small peninsula, so it is easier for ships to dock their bridge onto it. And then that goes into what is a railed off catwalk and then a ladder which leads up to two separate doors, one leading very obviously to an operation room which is connected to a crane but also has other tools and things residing in it, and then a door that leads to the rest of the facility. On this first level, there are a few boxes strained about, but nothing that would really pique your interest.
Alright, but is there anybody here besides us?
You look around and you take your time. You're not horribly in a rush at the exact moment. And there's not a whole lot around. Not even a servitor docking port. It looks like this, even though this is an important function for the area, they're not as horribly worried about keeping it constantly staffed, other than mandatory tech priests, as to move items on and off ships. Then the servitors would come and move them where they need to be. Which
Alright.
I suppose might be a curiosity, as there are boxes strewn about.
Alright. I want to use a sign license to see if there's
You are
fucking
a psyker. You are not.
yes.
Okay, you are a psyker. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your senescence, and then tell me what you're looking for.
No, I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking for, and then I'm gonna roll it.
Fuck you too.
Well, no, I thought that's actually how it goes. So I'm telling you what I'm looking for, and then roll for it, because then it just roll for it. And then, oh, that's a good roll. I could actually be more like I could do this instead of what I actually plan on.
That's true. Either or work though, but what are you looking for? We'll go off.
All right, since I saw fucking doors break, correct? Like they're fucking wide open,
Yes.
correct? I want to search for a fucking, how do I say this? Chaos, such as this Chaos Space Marine.
So you're when you're using your senescence, you're not looking as much for like active signs. That'd be more under the lines of like survival or something.
No, I'm looking for like how do I say this? Presence of chaos, per se, like essence.
Go ahead and make your senescence check, and I'll kind of give you.
All right, there we go.
So you're really fucking with me with that 7 degrees of failure.
What can I say except fuck me?
Okay, so you attempt to tap into the warp as to access the primitive, empathetic parts of your brain. You reach out and you begin feeling around. You look on the ground. You put your hands on certain items to try to get a bead. You don't feel any specific sort of presences, not even a little. But you get a generalized feeling of anger, I think would be a good way to sum up this room. This room is just filled to the brim with anger, but it doesn't branch out beyond this room.
So it enrages me.
It doesn't enrage you, but yes, you feel the rage permeating from this room, the anger. It's important to say it's anger, not really rage.
Angry.
Angry indeed. I should also tell you there does not appear to be burn marks, blood marks, claw marks. It's almost empty, scarily so.
Alright, as I'm done fucking up with that senescence, I want to Mm, I want to look up. Fucking, I'm out of the vehicle, by the way. I want to look up to see if there's any signs of, how do I say this? Openings, like a natural opening, such as vents being open, um, other shit like that.
So, go ahead and make me a scrutiny check.
All right, let's
Since
go.
you don't find any vent openings, in fact, every vent you do find is perfectly fine. And the vents aren't very large, no larger than if you put your hands together in a circle and then for you personally shrink that a little bit. They're about that big, enough to move air around, not enough to like fit a person or anything for real.
All right. If that be the case, then I think everything's perfectly fine. Also, since I have size focus as well as a chainsword, could be possible to have my side focus not split per se, but on the sword where if I fucking use what is that fucking smite? Yep. If I use smite, it would spark out at the end of my chainsword without harming the chainsword because the side focus that is at the end of it. Could that be possible?
If you really want, I can just let you have the psi focus be with the chain sword, and then the staff just be a staff. That doesn't bother me. But I can't let you just split it. Otherwise, it defeats what a psi focus is.
All right.
So,
All right.
and just make
Yeah, I
sure you
could do
make a
that.
note whatever one you actually choose to be your psi focus is your psi focus.
I thought that's like handheld, so like a gem. So that's why I was thinking of like attaching that gem onto my um
Psi-
chainsword.
Alright, so psi focuses aren't inherently anything. It's something that is easier for you to focus into. For some people, it's a sword. For other people, it's a gem. It's something that holds a meaning to you. It could literally be a playing card.
It could
And
literally be your motherfucking hand bone.
it could be, actually.
Oh,
Because it is
alright.
based around your emotion. The more emotional you are, chances are the more powerful you are. And for a, player knowledge, the reasoning is because what is the warp? The warp, the realm of souls, chaos in and of itself is human thought, but not logical human thought. That's been murder fucked out of that, pretty much literally. So, that's also why chaos in and of itself is so strong, because humans are so strong, and because humans are so hateful in the 41st millennium, so are the demons. But that's just a little bit of like theory craft for you. So, would you like to stay in this room or would you like to begin into the hallway?
I would like to begin in the hallway. I did enough investigation, as most inquisitors do.
So, you begin to move
Hold
up
on.
the ladder. Oh,
Oh, I'm going up the ladder. I thought I'm going in the hallway. Never mind.
yeah, the hallway's up the ladder.
All right. Because if I'm going through the hallway, then I'm gonna have chain. No, I'm not ambidextrous. What the fuck am I talking about? Then yeah, I'm just gonna have my chainsaw. But it's neither here or there. Let's go up the ladder.
Okay, so you proceed up the ladder, and to your right is the door leading to the operation room for a crane as well as a generalized workshop. Then to your left is the door that leads out into the hallway. It is open, which, for doors of this caliber, to simply be open, especially because it is done in almost a half-cocked way. It appears unusual, but there's no significant damage to the door in and of itself. And
Now
for
I see.
for your ability to peer out into the hallway, just into that little area, because it immediately hangs a right once you move out the door, it appears that the emergency lights have been put on. So there is power that runs deep in the veins of the facility still, but
Is there
not
a
much.
console nearby?
Say again?
Is there a console nearby?
In the operations room, you could probably guess there is some form of console, yeah.
All right, and I'm looking at the operation room with that ajar door.
Yes, the door to the operation room appears closed, but it doesn't appear to be any form of automatic door. It looks like it's just a normal sliding door. You slide to the left to get in, and then once you're inside, you slide it behind you, and it clunks and is airtight that if there were to be a flood in the facility, that room would be okay.
Got it.
Yeah, everything, you can guess that if it's a locked room, if that section were to somehow be removed from the rest of the facility, it could survive at your current depth by itself. So, food for thought. Would you like to go to the operation room?
Yes.
Okay. You go.
But I'm not gonna like go in there. I'm gonna inspect around before I actually head in.
So the door, every door is is made in a way that has a small slit that goes from the full left to right. And as you peer in through that little glass section, you look inside. It's very dark in there. There's a special kind of dark in there. For some reason, it kind of churns your gut.
Cyanicians? Question mark.
You may, at any time.
General sensation of the warp.
So,
Nice.
when you peer into the warp, specifically at this room, you have the feeling that there's nothing actually in the room. But the angle of light is felt in a way that you feel fear. Genuine fear that permeates from this specific part in the rest of the room. Outside's angry, this room's fearful. But you've never met a Mechanicus, a Servitor. No chaos. Nothing ever like that has ever had fear.
Shit seems fucked. Not sure about you. Gonna attach my flashlight, gonna hook it up. And
right.
I'm just gonna snap it on.
So, you snap it on. Are you just doing it through the little glass there?
Holy fuck, that music kinda scared me. But yeah.
You flash it on. You peer through the glass, trying to pierce the darkness with the light you have in your hand. And as you do so, you see a small trail, a small trickle of water that has began sitting at the bottom of the room.
Anything else?
But that's it. For now, there's nothing else in that room. There appears to be a work table to the left, and a console off to the right. And then a third console that you can just barely see, that if you were to walk in and take a right, it would then also be to your right. So, here, I'll draw it really fast after I reveal this little section here. Just enough so you can see.
By any chance, is there any other hallways besides this one that's leading here?
For the operation room, no. So, the entrance is here. Goes like... And this is not drawn to size. So, here's a console here. Here's a console here. And then there is a work table that stretches in an L shape like that. And to roughly show, the water prints look like this. and that is pretty much all you can see. Unless you would like to kind of try to see what else is on the table, but...
So,
And the room's
I'm
only
able to
about...
see, like, right here, then there, and then fucking there. And I see this shit.
Yeah.
But if I look behind me, is there another hallway?
Yeah,
Or
that's
is
the
this just
hallway
it?
proper.
Like, this is just it?
So if you look behind you, there's the hallway that leads to the rest of the facility. For the operation area, this is it.
Is there any other hooks that I've seen outside before coming in here that's attached? I'm underwater, correct?
Do you mean like in terms of the facility or in terms of
Yeah,
like...
in terms of the facility.
The facility is submerged, you are currently not.
Alright.
So,
Is it like, is it on a base or is it like just floating there? Is the base just floating there?
the base has a base somewhere. You
It's just so
yourself,
deep down.
yes, it goes very deep. Like I said, it is the entirety of the Grand Valley. It dwarfs that. It is a massive facility meant to have hundreds of thousands of people occupying it. Done in a way that you can see and do multiple projects at the same time. It's not like a manufactorum that is dedicated to one task. It's massive and does one task. This facility is massive, but it's so massive it does multiple.
Alright.
This is a
If
research facility proper.
If that be the case, then I'm gonna be closing the door all the way.
So you're just making sure this door stays shut?
Yes, I'm not gonna lock it. I'm just gonna close it where if shit does happen in room, wire don't go out or in of the room.
So you heave with your might, and as you look, you pull as hard as you can. You actually, Tim, cock-eye the door, and as you look down, there's a small tube-like object stuck in the frame of the door. You can kick it in, you can pull it out, it's up to you.
Is there anyone else with me or
Nope.
like
You are sent down here solo to do this solo. They were getting contact literally up until a couple of months ago, and then it went dead, and they're sending you to investigate, but they figure if you go deep enough and it's bad, you can call your ship, and you can leave, and come back with a proper raiding party. This is more of a scouting situation.
alright. I'm going to pull that tube out.
Okay. You pull the tube out, and it's exactly as I described it. A small metal tube, no bigger than a foot, with a seal on one side and a normal bottom on the other. And as you do that, you fix the door, and it goes click, click, and you know that that room is airtight, other than the vent, which can also be blocked off.
Like, I need to do something.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back. Just need to turn on the lights again. Fucking lights.
Keep the fear away.
Yeah.
I told you, man. I love horror GMing. That's probably my favorite. It's so much fun.
Well, the actual suspense that's coming from this whole shit is the fucking music.
That's the point. It makes atmosphere with story.
But anyways, I close the door, go back. I'm gonna be any other hallways? Like, I know that you said hallways, but right, left, forward.
There is only the one you're at right now, and then the one that is behind you to the rest of the facility. The rest of this is just a block meant to have things imported and then taken out up the ladder. You think possibly there might be a third option, because it would be awkward moving the cargo up the ladder, but you don't know for sure. You'd have to properly find where the entrance is and all that stuff. So logically, you're fairly certain there is a third way, but you just don't see it.
Alright. How do I say this? Well, I'll visit the rest of the facility.
Okay. So, you turn behind you towards the door, and you just peek your head in, looking a little round the bend, and there are red lights dotting a very long hallway. That's not the one I was looking for. Whoops, is it this one? Nope!
Nice, I love this music.
So you peer out into the red light. It is so dark that if the red lights weren't there, it would be pitch black. Excuse me. The actual red lights, though, they bright it up enough that you can see the details of the floor, the details of the walls, and you can actively look out and see things. And the walls, they appear unscathed. The floors, other than having a few minor slosh tracks, like a little bit of water that hasn't completely dried, it's fairly clean. Even the wires have been properly tucked behind the walls. Like, even for a Mechanicus facility, this facility is in very good order.
Alright.
Would you like to start proceeding down the hallway?
Yes, and as I proceed, I want to take out my chainsword. Chainsword.
Okay. You take out your chainsword. Do you turn it on or no?
No.
Okay, that's a very important distinction. So you simply take it out. When chainswords are turned off, there are locks around the chains, which still make them very deadly weapons. They effectively assume the quality of a sword with tearing. So even this is still a 1d10 with tear. It's a very impressive weapon, and balance. But it's left off for the time. It's Machine Sphere eagerly waiting for the time it gets to roar into battle. But for now, it sits patiently. You begin proceeding into the hallway.
And as I do, I want to fucking keep a watch out.
So you can go ahead. Let's see. What would that be? Let me just look at my skills this year's. Trying to see. I would say just make me a scrutiny check.
Alright.
And we'll use this as your general. Do I see things? Do I not see things? Are people? Alright.
Well, that ain't too shabby.
So, you look out into the facility and you begin your long walk. You go easily 20 meters without seeing a door. You see a couple of access areas, but they all appear very locked. And for the time being, remain very inaccessible. And as you walk for those 20 meters, you finally come upon your first door. And labeled on the door is Hub.
Is there a window to it?
This one, surprisingly, does not have a window.
Is it closed?
The door is closed.
Well, I put my hand against it and I want to use Psyniscience, like I said, for fucking warp activities on the other side.
Roll Senescence.
Psyniscience.
Okay.
Nice.
So your bead from this is a lot more accurate than it has been the other couple times. You feel out into the room. And this is going to be a little harder to describe, so forgive me if it's not perfect. But you feel the toss and the turn of the ocean, moving back and forth. And that is kind of what you feel in the room in terms of, like, feeling. It's very much odd, because most of the time you feel very specific emotions, and they're there, but this room appears to make you feel almost lost. And if you were not the psyker, the man you were, if there was a lesser man, they could almost be hypnotized by the feeling this room gives off. That's how almost calm and perfect it is. But you know better. You delve a little deeper. You go beneath the waves. And you start picking out certain things. And it's a complete mess of emotion. There's not one that stands out. I mean, there's anger, there's fear, there's happiness and joy. And if there were to be one that would probably be the most prominent, but not by much, it would definitely be this, not eagerness, this patience. You feel their patience, you feel their waiting, but you also feel the wanting behind it. It has that feeling, almost like a lion about to pounce a gazelle, but holding their haunches back. Just waiting until they're close enough.
Alright. Alright. Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna open the door, but slowly. Enough to peer through the cracks.
Okay, so before you do that, what is in your left hand? What is in your right hand? I would like to know now.
My left hand is empty, but my right hand is holding the chain sword. And
Okay.
wait, hold on. It needs to be established. How is the door gonna open?
Okay, so this door is normally, you can tell that it is an automatic sliding door. It
Like,
opens upon approach, but when there is not sufficient power to the facility, that function is cut off and is instead used. It is used as a normal sliding door, like the operation room where you could slide it in and out, and there are simply clicks to prove airtightness. It is the same with this one. And that will be your general assumption, unless I describe the doors differently for now.
alright, so it goes from, if I want to open it, it goes from left to, no, right to left, right?
Yes.
Alright. I was thinking that, but I just want to make sure. Because if that is the case, then yes. Nothing in my left hand and my chainsword in my right.
Alright. So, you begin to open the door.
And I'm going to be cautious that my Psyniscience is telling me that something or someone's being patient. The room feels patient. There we go.
Yeah. And I know, it's a very odd description, but it's the best way I can. So, you crack the door open just enough to peer through. You're careful, you're silent. I would say you're even almost eager yourself in a way. Because if something were to jump at you, you know that in a second your chainsword would be through its belly. And with that, it also comes a certain confidence, which I think is important. So, as you take and move the door, something immediately catches your eye. One, in the center of the room is a large glass container. And I say glass, but it's not quite right. The material is simply clear, and you can't tell what is inside without getting closer, but like I mentioned earlier, there's an ocean in a way inside, and it's bobbing gently back and forth. And you do know it has a bottom, so it's not just open. It does not lead directly to the ocean. It's done in a very specific way. But something else catches your eye even faster. You look slightly up and to your left without even moving your head as you open the door and this catches your eye. It is the mere look of what appears to be old, leathery skin. But only seeing a part of it, you're not sure as to what. You simply know it's there, and it's right above the door, but starting to dangle down towards it.
Like it's moving?
It's not moving, but it is... The part you see hints that it goes higher, but also lower. So it is lengthy, it's long.
Anything else?
No, sir. Nothing else that you can see before you walk in. I mean, a couple tables and chairs strewn about, but you can't really see the overarch area for the time being.
What about the expression of the room? Like, when I say chaos, I mean like, did shit happen in a panic or?
You can't really tell.
So there's no chairs or tables being thrown about, or
You don't
not?
think so.
All right. Gonna open the door a little bit more. This I'm gonna roll a scrutiny check for that leather piece,
Alright.
just to see a further description of what it is.
Alright. So, you open the door a little bit more. And
It's just leather.
it's just... It really just looks like leather.
Oh shit, alright. I'm gonna walk through the door.
You walk through the door, and as you push the door to the side and walk in, your chainsword at the ready, the leather thing moves with the door. And as you look behind you to ascertain if it's a threat or not, it is the leather arm of a servitor, and connected above is a body that for the rest of time, both his doors are used to slide open and slide close the door. And the only thought that would really run to your mind is, it is as dead can be. It's not broken on the exterior of its body, but its heart and its faulty brain have ceased to function. This lobotomized soul, who was originally damned to open and close the same door for the rest of his life, now simply lies there, slumped over, his hands simply attached to the door.
Right. As I look at it, I'm gonna look. I'm. I'm thinking the way I'm looking is at the door, correct?
Yeah,
Like
right now
I'm
you're
towards the
looking
door,
at the door.
towards the hallway.
Yeah, towards the hallway you just came from.
All right. I'm gonna turn around. If there's anything else that's noticeable,
Okay, I think you're going
and
to like this. You look out into the vastness of a room that easily spans 50 meters, 150 feet long, 150 feet across. It is a glorious room. It really is. And it is in the shape of what appears to be a dome, with there being multiple monitors that span out into cameras, which span out across the facility. You could watch the exterior of the entire block of this facility. And by block, I imply this section. This is what is called a hub. And you've only heard about this in legends and in mysteries. And it is called a hub by mortals. The Adeptus Mechanicus have a slightly different name for it, but a name you're uncertain of. Around you see tables upon tables upon tables bolted to the ground. And when you look at the tables, wires dangle from the bottom, connecting into the floor and then up through the chairs, providing little connectory ports. And in the center sits a smaller version of the hub, if you will. But currently all these globes are dead.
globes.
Yeah, the globes that come out from the center of the table.
Oh,
It
like
almost
lamps.
looks like a diamond crystal ball. You know what that is?
No.
You don't know about the classic crystal ball? Okay, so it's you know what a globe is, right? Like the globe of the earth put on that little spinny wheel.
Yep.
Okay, it's like that, and it resembles the room, like the top of the room, but miniature on the table. So it's like half a globe on the table, and currently
Oh,
all of them are dim and black. Make me a scrutiny check.
let's hope. Let's hope.
Okay,
Yeah. So, shit.
so you look around at every single one of these globes. It is a wide girth that you use your eyes. And every single one of these globes appear dead. There is nothing in them. But what draws your attention is in the center of the room. That original thing I described, the ocean in a bottle, if you will. And as you look through, you begin to find yourself swaying with the material inside, going back and forth very gently. And what you see inside physically is simply this colorful swirl of just fluid, just free-floating fluid of various colors just moving around in almost this hurricane, and then back to this gentle wave bob. But what your mind sees, what your psychic abilities see, are vastly different. Go ahead and make me a Senescence check. Okay. It is an overwhelming force. This fluid is not normal. And you find yourself being drawn in. And now you understand why just at the door lesser men would be fallen deep. Because you here now, looking at this material alone, makes a fissure in your brain temporarily. You feel yourself almost being able to look in your own psyche to such a degree that it's almost as if you could train against yourself, if that makes sense. You see fragments of your personality talking and moving and swirling, just like the fluid. And as you finally pull back, you find yourself reeling your eyes away from this material. It is terrifying, but beautiful. And as you look at it a second time, just a peek, the color has turned into this black sludge. And as you look around, you start to notice the hub a little differently. Fluid has begun leaking from the walls. Oil has begun dripping from the top of the roof. And this glass has gone from a perfect crystal clear to a smutty mess, barely upkept by even the worst of maids. And then...
And what about the floor?
There is easily an inch of water across the entire floor.
Alright. And how far am I in the room?
You are in the center. So, literal 75 feet from all directions.
Alright, continue.
So as you look around, soaking in, you are, to say the least, maybe not you in specific, but like it feels, this essence of confusion really sets in. And then, for a moment, you question if what you saw is real or fake. And you rub your eyes a little, and what you see now is currently what you're seeing. So, there are 4 doors. There is the one you came in, one dead ahead, one left, and one right. They all have been snapped shut. And it took you a second, now seeing the doors and all the tables and the sludge, but one of the globes sitting in the center of the table has a dim light protruding from the center.
I'm curious. I'm gonna go investigate it.
Alright. Sitting in it is a dim blue light. As you get closer, you can differentiate the light, and you see what might be called a literal stream of data, information. And it is swirling about, just like the material in the center, the ocean outside. And if you were to see free-floating data, this would literally be what it looks like. And you see that there is a small cylinder shape devoid in one of the edges of the table. I should say a small tube-looking shape.
What?
So if you were to look at the table, there's the globe in the center, and then protruding out of the table are 4 different slots for what appears to be some form of cylinder, or metal tube as it can also be called.
Alright. Now, with that being said, guessing I'm gonna go on a retrieval quest. So, And the doors that was originally in the center, the door forward is which direction? North, south, west, east?
So the door you came from we'll call south. The door forward would be north, and then east and west would be their respective directions.
Alright, I want to head towards the door to the north.
To the north?
Yes.
You begin moving your way forward towards that other door, hoping that perhaps you can figure out what's going on in this facility. And you go forward, you look around, and the door is very weird. It's very odd, because the way it is, each of these doors have that servitor sitting upon them. And it's slightly pulled open. And as you get closer, I want you to make me another scrutiny check.
So many scrutiny checks. I should have invested in scrutiny.
Okay. So, let me do something very quickly. Okay. You feel odd. You're not entirely sure. But you think perhaps, just maybe, you saw something beyond the door. And then you saw its figure shift and move and leave.
Alright. I look at my right hand.
Your right hand?
Yep.
The one with the chainsword in it?
Yep.
You look at it. You look at it real good. It's still your hand.
And what isn't in it? What am I holding?
You're holding the chainsword.
Alright, so shit's not screwy enough for that shit to disappear. Got it.
But if you look at your left, no.
You say tentacles. Good, proceed forward.
Okay. So you
I'm not gonna rev the chainsword up. I'm still gonna leave it disabled.
Okay. So you start proceeding through the door, and as it opens, you see the small turn of a coat breaching through one of the doors. And this corridor, has dozens upon dozens of doors, but most of them you can tell are firmly closed and locked, with each of these doors now beginning to starting to have keys that are required, other than this one that has already appeared open. And then there is a door on the very, very far side of the hallway, and that is firmly shut as well. And as you look down, not only do you see the thin layer of water that has begun to breach the very bottom of every floor you see, but you see a thin, and I do mean thin, I mean it's no bigger than a pinky or two pinkies put together. It is just a thin blue streak.
What do you mean by blue streak?
It's just a thin blue line on the ground that leads towards the other hallway.
Alright. Well, if it's just a narrow hallway, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there's nothing there that I see.
Nothing on the walls, nothing on the floor. Though now, looking slightly closer, You see few wires hanging, but for the most part, you maybe see a ladder at the very far end. It's very dark, it's hard to tell. Do you think there might be a toolbox that has been opened on it? So perhaps maybe work was being done on this specific hallway?
Well, I'm gonna go. I am going to go down the hallway, but I want to be wary of my surroundings.
So where you are, go ahead. Let me think here. Make me an awareness check.
Something I could actually do. Never mind.
Lies. Trying to stay on your toes and not find anything specific this time, you proceed forward with caution up until the open door. And nothing manages to jump out at you.
Alright. I'm gonna fast. Am I at the toolbox?
No,
At
the
the door.
toolbox is much farther down. This hallway is easily probably close to 100 meters long.
Don't know how. Oh, now I know. Alright.
Yeah. And it's near, like, probably the 75-meter mark. It's fairly far out. You've maybe
Man.
10?
Oh, that ain't bad.
Yeah. You've made distance, but, you know.
That ain't distance. Fucking. Alright. I'm at the other door, correct?
Yes, there are 2 doors on each side going down for the rest of the length of the hallway.
And both of them look shut tight, correct?
The one to the right of you shut tight. The one to the left of you is moved slightly ajar. You believe you saw the turn of a cloak move into this room.
Fucking curiosity. I want to roll Sinistance just for the general sense of the warp. Hey, that actually not too shabby.
That's 3 degrees of success on top of the 4th degree, because you get the initial success and then the difference. So yeah, 3 degrees of success. And in this room, there is an overwhelming sense of anticipation. But not fear, not confidence, not brutality, not anger, simply anticipation. And focus would probably be another way to describe it.
I fucking hate it when shit like this happens.
Now, due to your really nice degree, you feel a wave from the facility. Not just this room, from the entire facility. And it is... how to describe it? Watchful. As this entire facility gives you a sense of watchful.
Alright, well then whatever fucking warp magic's going on, I'm already sucked into it. Alright. Is there a window on the door?
Nope.
No window?
No, sir.
I'm gonna peer into the door, but I'm gonna peer into the door with one hand in front of my face. So if someone were to stab me, my hand would go first, and my left hand, be more specific.
So, like, are you doing the thing that kids do when they're watching a movie, and then their parents are trying to cover their eyes and they're looking through the digits in their hand?
More having the palm face towards the door with me, with the back hand facing me.
Alright, so
So
kind of the same thing.
if something were to stab me, And if I didn't be a bitch, I would grab that something and use all my strength to just
So, you crack the door open a little bit. Just a little bit.
a whittle.
A little bit more than what it was, is what I
Ooh.
should say. Your chainsaw's still at hand. And you hear a raspy voice from the corner. And I mean, whew, someone needs to lay off the camels. Come in closer. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I fucking heard that.
Did you hear what he said?
No.
Do not come any closer, is what they said.
Fucking, what language was that then?
It was in the same as yours. He just has issues.
What if I, okay, I'm going to say back to him, I am an inquisitor, I mean no harm. I'm also a psyker. So if we're in... Is he interrupting?
No, I was just moving my mic.
Oh, I thought I was laughing. Alright, I'll continue. If we're fucking in a shitstorm, I could get both of us out of this, but I need cooperations from you to begin with.
That's what the last Inquisitor said.
Can you repeat that?
That is what the last Inquisitor said.
Alright, do I got something that shows I'm an Inquisitor, or...
You have what I'll call an Acolyte Rosette, which means you are the Acolyte to an Inquisitor. Who, you actually don't know your Inquisitor. You have a name, but you never remember it. It's actually on the back of your Rosette, if you really care, but for the time being, it's not really horribly important.
All this time I thought I was the Inquisitor. Okay.
You can say you are, because it's not horribly wrong. You've been given full authority by this figure, for the duration of this mission.
No, I'll be truthful as much as possible. I want to say I'm an acolyte of an Inquisitor instead.
Yeah, and he would still reply, this is what the last Inquisitor said. The reply remains the same.
Alright. If that be the case, then I'm gonna respond back to... Alright. To show proof, I'm gonna show you identification. And is this like some meager badge, or is it like...
It is... Alright, so most rosettes have like beads down to a very iconic eye. Yours is like a string, like a solid piece of cord that connects to what is a kind of like a star with an eye, like a eyeball.
Alright.
Do you remember what the Elder Sign is?
A little bit.
Okay. Give me a second, Bob.
Oh, I'm gonna show him this.
It looks like that.
It looks like what? Did you post in Discord?
Nah, it's on the map. Just look beneath.
Hey, come zone. No.
God damn it.
Oh, that shit. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna show him that badge. Like, well, did the last Inquisitor show you his badge?
He hated data slate.
Well, data slots and badges are much different, my guy.
Depends on the boogeyman. And I want you to apply the first voice I use to the rest of this, but I'm dumbing it down so you can still hear.
Yeah, because I don't understand what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah. And to that degree, which is unusual for any real Imperial system to know, he's not wrong. Every Inquisitor does do it differently. Some do use data slates, some prefer to use more physical means. It depends who it is. The sanction, however, is proven by the badge in and of itself. So,
Alright.
it was convincing enough that it appeared real.
Alright. But you still not trust me. That's understandable.
Yeah, for a facility that's literally oozing, yeah, I would be quick to distrust people too.
Yeah, and here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna continue down the hall. You could secure this place as much as you want or move to the next. Just don't follow me. Otherwise, we're gonna have some issues.
Make a command check.
A command check? What the fuck is that?
A command check.
Oh, it's
You are
right there.
commanding him to not move.
No, I'm telling him don't follow, but it still applies.
Yeah. Alright. He, as you peer in proper, so your voice is projected and heard, you see the figure in his entirety. He has some form of a uniform on. It is leathery, to say the best, but it has now been cracked and chipped with holes in several places. And looking at him, he is a mess. His hair is unkempt. His face is horribly disfigured. He has a piece of his jaw missing.
So you're telling me is that this fucker up with the violations? Got it.
Yeah, if it was military, if he was in any form of military, they are throwing his ass out. But in his hand sits an auto pistol. And you can tell just from looking at it from the side that he has it on fully automatic. Anything that were to walk through that door with lethal intent would receive a 6-round burst. And if it's human, likely stop walking shortly thereafter that.
Come on, mate. I'm just trying to be friendly here. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with this place. Alright. I mean no harm.
He doesn't say anything. He's just holding the angle. I mean, it is still aimed at you, but he's not doing or saying anything. He's watching you.
Alright. What's your plan? Do you want to get up?
Say again, my guy?
I'm asking the guy of what his plan is. Does he want us to get out of here?
Who wouldn't want to get out of here? It is a nightmare made manifest.
Alright. Well, if you're willing to cooperate with such information, I would like to know what's with us at this time. You know, what's causing so much damage to you and to the surroundings of this place.
Before
Have
you
you seen
continue
it?
speaking, his eyes become very, very wide.
And I look behind me.
Nothing's behind you, or in front of you for that matter, nor left nor right, other than this man in the room. But his eyes, something he hears or sees or feels, something is going on. You see the alarm, the panic start to build in his facial expression.
I'm going to take cover, and I'm going to use Sign Instance to search around this place.
Do you dive in the room?
No, I don't dive in the room, but I'm going to take behind the wall, and I'm going to use Sign Instance to search. Because there might be something coming my way, and I need to know quick.
So are you in the room or in the hallway?
In the hallway.
Okay. So you slam your back against the wall and you begin focusing your mind.
Oh shit, that has not come up.
His overwhelming sense of panic permeates so vastly that even if there was something else, something with lethal, murderous, or even worse intent, It has ravaged your brain. That is how much his panic, his anxiety, is gnawing at not just him, but to some degree now you. And I want you to make me a willpower check, flat.
Well, pal, let's go. Fuck.
Oh no! Okay, give me 1 second here. Because I haven't gotten to do this before, and I'm very excited.
I'm not excited. Not excited one
This
bit.
is one of the issues with opening your mind to everything else.
Hey, can you make another character?
Not currently, but I can later.
No, I just need another character to be open for me.
So let's see. That'd be 5 degrees of failure. So
Yeah,
roll me a
5 fucking degrees.
1d100 plus 50.
Yeah, can you do me a favor? Just make another empty character sheet for me, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't worry, you're
Oh,
not gonna die. Not session 1. You know the rules.
no. I don't trust the rules anymore.
That's good. You shouldn't.
Nice.
All right.
Hey, it's 101. Like fucking any schooling. Gotta be optimistic somehow. You know me.
All right. His anxiety is just overwhelming. It is so overwhelming that it begins to generate genuine anxiety in you. It gets to a degree that you feel your stomach turn in knots. You feel yourself about to throw up. You feel as if your heart is about to beat out of your chest. And then you start twitching and shaking uncontrollably, chainsword gripped as tight as you can. And then you begin, everything starts turning black. And then your eyes fall closed for just a minute. And as you wake up, you look around and you realize you had temporarily blacked out. The anxiety still gnawing at you. And as you look, you can still sense his sheer anxiety, not even focusing your mind. That is how permeate it is. And then as you wake up further, you notice that you are beneath his watchful gaze. He's half looking at you, but mostly he has closed the door, locked it, and now moved a piece of furniture in front of it. For whatever reason, he has tried to make you safe.
Wait. I'm in the room with him?
Now you are, yes. You blacked out and he dragged you in the room.
A big body as I am with a rucksack? Got it.
Well, to drag is a lot easier than to pick up. So, dragging you wasn't as much as an issue. Anyone can drag a couple 100 pounds. That's not the hardest activity.
Alright, if that be the case, am I disarmed?
No, your chain sword, despite the fact you blacked out, is white-knuckled in your hand still.
Alright, sir. I need you to do me one thing. Gonna give you my last pistol for a real quick second.
You have a las pistol?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
It's fully loaded, but should you a little bit better, just in case if you run out with the ammo in that bolter. Or a bolt pistol. Oh, auto pistol.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure how better is the last pistol compared to
Let's see if I remember properly. They're the same, excluding that a auto pistol focuses on ammunition and does not have any settings to it, other than single shot and fully auto. While last pistol you can drain the battery more but get more of a kick. So he happily takes your last pistol without even second thought. Like, you put your hand out, last pistol there, and he grabs it in his other hand, holsters his pistol, and he is aiming at the door. Like, he didn't even look at you. He just grabbed its switch and is now aiming.
And I'm gonna say this quietly as I did with a pistol. Alright, sir? If anything comes to that door, that shit and I will fucking face off. And I'll try towards you so I could shoot it in its back. In the meantime, let's try to stay calm as much as possible.
You see his hand shaking, but his eyes remain determined. Whatever anxiety this man feels, it is obvious he is tempered to a degree that it doesn't drop him. And he slowly shakes his head. And you notice, now that you can see him, that not only is a piece of his jaw missing, but one of his eyes has nearly been gouged out with a severe cut. The cut is fresh and bleeding. The jaw has taken something circular and hot to be cauterized. And then, as you look him further up and down, you recognize the uniform. It's an uncommon one, and lucky for you, you're a little more studious than most, to help make up for the fact that you're not necessarily the smartest individual. You do study more. This is the Gesaro Defense Force uniform. This is their personal police force in place of Adeptus Arbites, but considering the only thing of significance is the facility, they are tithed and brought here from everywhere else in the subsector. He specifically appears to have been, at one point, a mere cadet, but he has rapidly gained experience here, and you could feel that he could easily pull sergeant, if not captain. And I know there's a jump there, but you can tell his experience is steep. And as he shakes his head at you, his messy black hair waving side to side, grease full, and his hazel eyes watching the door, focused. He's fairly well built. He's not massive, but he's definitely not small. He just says in a very quiet voice, "Shh. If it comes in here, we're dead anyway. There's nowhere else to run to. Not if he comes in here." And, apply raspy voice for effect. So, do you remain quiet?
What do you think I'm doing?
Okay. I just wanted to be sure, because sometimes you just stop talking while you think. You could easily sit there for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you hear something deep. Something that's drumming, that thumbs. Boom. Boom. The rattle of chains echo throughout the hall. But not this hall. A hall. And you hear the thump. Thump. And you look at him and you see that despite his panic, he remains all together. And as you look at the door and focus your ears, thump, thump. It's getting farther, but it was close enough to hear. And somewhere you hear the crunch of metal as something sharp tears through something metal. far away. But even you realize that if it was you versus this, if it can tear metal in an audible way from this distance, that is pretty strong as a creature.
Now I went right or left?
You went into the left door.
Yeah, but the hallway.
Oh, the hallway you chose?
Yeah, did I hear the
Oh.
thumping? Like,
You can't exactly tell. You don't know if it's right or left. You think it's further down this hallway somewhere.
alright, hold on. Which hallway?
You're in the north hallway, and you think it is somewhere further north.
So instead of it coming down here, it went further that way.
Yes. If you had to hazard a guess, you assume there is a junction somewhere up further north. As you finally get to examine the room, a couch has been moved in front of the door, and this appears to be some form of living quarters. Used mainly for people of the Gisaro Defense Force. So you assume that the way you are heading, hence the thin blue line as well, is the north is like the barracks, armory, that sort of a thing, for any emergency situation that might occur. I think we're okay for now. And you see him relax a little as he slumps his back against the wall.
I'm only a scouting party, but if we get back to the Valkyrie, we could get our asses out of here and go in with a full squad. I could handle this shit.
I think you're not understanding. Whatever you came in on has probably been affected by the facility already. For now, you are probably as trapped as we are.
Are there others like you?
A few. For the hundreds of thousands left here, there is merely dozens that I have found. Most have met unfortunate ends, excluding myself and 2 others, but they have moved far, far from here.
Alright.
For now, I trust you. I will help you the best I can. But even I cannot explain all of this. For now, you have the chance to ask any questions, and this guy will do his best to follow and protect you. Mostly because you were kind enough to weaponize him, which is a very big I trust you moment. So for now, it's like that mutual, you didn't shoot me, and you weaponed me. For now, I think we'll be okay.
Alright. Well, I'm contacting the outside world.
Destroyed quicker than possible.
Hold on, Blake. Fucking lights keep turning off. I'm not playing this game with lights off. I don't care what you say. Alright. Alright. So.
And to sum up what he said, whatever communication was possible is no longer possible.
And I'm sure you don't know the reason why, it just is.
I am no Mechanicus adept, and my power is limited to what I've learned in the past couple of months, past couple of years even. I was a private when this all started. Now, there's no rank that could ascertain the experience I've gained. But there's no way I could do more than what I am now at this point. I can't fix what's broke. And I've only survived by the skin of my teeth. I have found a few things that might be of interest to one as yourself. Very few things, however. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, anything that would help us at this point.
So, for the sake of expediency, I'm going to do this in my voice. I have found 3 things to hold your interest. 1. There is something that pulls you into what could be even conceived as an alternate place. It phases in and out like the ocean above. So currently you are, the deeper you go, the more you are phased in one place. The higher you go, the more phased you are in another place. We are in a place between places, is the best I could gather from a sister psyker before her head exploded to the sheer volume that she was trying to comprehend. Second, whatever wiped out the hundreds of thousands of people didn't wipe them out as dead. It did something else, but I can't explain as to what. I have only killed a few. I try to avoid most. I can't take on a fight alone, and my ammunition's already running low to begin with because of all the ones I've had to fight off. I have killed 7 of them. I had 3 clips that were full at the time. And the last thing is this creature is not a solo one. There is more. Many more. But I can't. I have never seen one. I hear the noise, and unlike the rest, I knew what that noise was. A crunch of metal is enough for me to know to not try and find out. And the cameras went down with the main power say. So, unless you get power on, no footage to look over for now. And those are his 3 things that he is going to convey to you for now.
We could try to get back into the control room.
It is down a western orange hallway. But the better control room... Oh, pardon me. Whew. The better control room is 2 floors down. And that covers for the majority of this half of the block. Go 4 floors down and you reach the other one for the other half.
Do you know if they're afraid of the
Light only serves to reveal where you are to them. And noise
So
is the same situation.
and they mean to hunt?
Hunt isn't even necessarily the right word. It feels like they're gathering, maybe even testing. It's odd.
So they don't straight up kill you, they just bring you near death.
From what I can tell, yes. Though I've also watched men be split straight in half. Well, not seen, but put lightly, I've seen one half toss and the other half thumped against a wall. It's a good guess as to who did it.
Alright. I think that we should. I think we had enough time. I think that we should move forward. If not you, then not.
I will protect you for now. I will go where you go. But don't get me killed. So, what would you like to do?
Well, to be able to turn power on, the guy did say that when you go down to floor two floors, correct? Turn on the power on
Yeah,
for the sector.
yeah. Which also requires you to find an access point. Which, lucky for you, he knew that it was in the west hallway. But that's all he knew. He hasn't had to go through it. They normally have them in hallways. So he knows generally where it is, but he couldn't tell you, like, oh, it's exactly 80 meters in that. No, he can't do that.
Alright.
And if you choose to speak to him a bit more, he can tell you a little bit more of how he's made it. But that is kind of a you choice. You don't have to. He's already given you a gist, but
Well, I just assume that fucking he hears, he just gets in a room, locks it up, boards it up, and it just stays quiet. That's what I think he does. So,
it's a good sum up. He hides. He hides a lot. He's had to fight more than once, but
he prefers to hide.
save ammo. He started this whole endeavor months ago with 3 clips. He's had to encounter 7 of the minion-looking ones, which he doesn't know exactly how to explain those. It drained him of more than half his ammunition. His auto pistol, from the way he described it, has maybe a third of a clip left. 6 rounds, 1 more burst. That means he has spent 54 rounds, if I mathed right, on 7 different targets in order to kill them. And he also mentioned that there are plausibly hundreds of thousands of them. So he knew that killing 7, other than to save his own life, was not going to do a whole lot. So you guys begin.
Alright. Yeah, we need to delve deeper into this madness.
Indeed, indeed.
So, we're going to be barricading the. Of course, I'm going to ask for his help. But I want to unbarricade the door.
Yeah, he will help just move the couch that was put in front of it. It's relatively light. It probably wouldn't have stopped whatever's coming, but he'd rather give it his best than just die, so.
Alright. Gonna open the door, gonna fucking search around.
Okay.
Search around.
How do you open the door?
Very slightly. Gonna listen first.
Make me an awareness check.
Gonna peer in and gonna listen to see what the fuck's going on in the outside.
And he's also gonna make an awareness check.
Oh, fuck.
The coast appears very clear. Um, you are distracted by the noise of the hull settling, but at least you guys are alive so far. That's kind of what you guys are focusing on. It was, to some degree, you still even hear your heartbeat beating in your eardrums very hard. But you've more or less calmed down, and it appears he has as well.
Alright. Now, gonna open the door. We're gonna take a left, and we're gonna head down the ladders.
So, you're going back to the hub into the orange
No,
hallway?
no. Oh, I thought that was the right. If we take the right, we're going into the hub.
Yeah, so you're going left.
Yeah.
Okay, left sends you further into the blue wing. The ladder indicated down is an orange wing.
Oh.
I'm sure, and he will say this in character, he is sure that there is a ladder in blue wing, but it's probably an access ladder, and he's not a tech priest. So he's not sure how you would get in them without the proper access litanies. Or in other words, a fucking key.
Got it. So orange ring, we shall go.
So you head right into the hub, and then you head west, which is the orange wing.
And do I see anything that's fucking crunched?
In the orange one, the hub, no. In the orange wing, no. In the hub, you come across the same center. Everything is the same as you left it. The blinking data core in the middle with the free-floating data, same slot for a metal tube of some kind, and everything else. And then orange wing is the same as the blue wing, except a 2 pinky wide orange strip down the center with the same dozen plus doors, though there appears to be more than just a few open, including the one at the end, which has been moved slightly ajar.
Alright. So one of the doors are moved in a jar, correct?
Yeah, quite a few of them are not closed and locked. I would say there's probably a dozen doors per hallway, including the ones on each end, split up across 100 meters. It's like every. I think. I don't know how to math this shit. Give me 1 second. Okay. So every like 8-ish meters, which was about what I thought what it was, there is another. So every 10 meters, there's another set of 2 doors. Would you like to explore some of them? Or would you like to close them and move on?
I would like to leave them open and not mess with them. But I want to keep awareness to hear for noises.
Okay, make me a second awareness check. And I'm going to give you plus 10.
Still doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And your buddy old pal is not doing much better. The anxiety is still a little high, despite how calm you guys have been. It's still a little bit higher than you both would like, and it's making it hard to listen and watch.
Listen, my mission is to report back to my Inquisitor. I am not saying this, but if I die, then that tells my Inquisitor that this place is fucked. So, anyway, I'm completing my mission. The only difference is if I'm alive or not. Alright, let's continue.
out of game, that is one way to look at it. He's asking you to investigate the facility as a whole and to understand why it's gone out of contact. And to some degree, you know why it's gone out of contact. But most Inquisitors would like a route. And right now you have a surface. So your investigation would be considered still at level 1. You're still figuring out what the fuck is going on. So,
And I got a little bit of details. Just the absence of me being there could either identify that the place is fucked, not sure it's fucked, or actually come back alive and tell why it's fucked. Either way, Inquisitor will know it's fucked.
yeah.
So, that for me, that just gonna put some ease to my mind due to the fact that I'm completing my mission either way.
So, as you look at your friend a little closer, you see that he has stuck pieces of other uniforms and even pieces of what you think might be like tanned skin. You're not sure, to his clothing. So, yes, it still has several holes, but for the main part, it appears that he's turned it less from a uniform and into somewhat armor. Still light, but it appears he might actually have some skills in leather and armor craft. Not a ton, though. Enough to keep himself alive, not to re-armor an army. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
However, then continue down the hallway until we reach the ladder.
Okay. As you look into the doors just slightly to ensure that you're safe, you notice that these rooms are variety little offices. And they're strange because they're really like different servitor workshops made to fix and repair servitors. And in every one of them that you can actively look into, they're empty. You're not sure where the servitors have gone. As you continue, you look into the next door that leads into the next little hub area. It appears these hubs are how they connect the facility, which kind of makes sense to you. If you were to look at it, it would almost look like a bunch of interconnected circles. And as you look into this hub, though, versus having that center like that first one did, is a ladder that leads down, with 3 other doors that lead into other areas.
So it could possibly lead to the central command. Possibly.
Yeah. And like most bases, I will put out to the fact that no one's going to put their command center on the very bottom of a base, but no one's going to put their command center on the very top. A smart person would put it in the center. So you would have a very long way to go before you reached any sort of like central command. But as for outpost commands, those would probably be a bit faster to find. But for now, you're just trying to get to this sector, which means these 2 floors is power. And from what you can understand from what he told you, every 2 floors has a different power source. Which luckily for you, they also means they have their own generators. So you might actually be able to route enough power to make these 2 floors actually functional.
If not, get a map of the whole place.
Yeah, that's your other option.
Because I don't want to get enough power to turn on the lights, but I want to get enough power to do other shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn on the lights, but I want to do other shit.
Yeah. And of course, that's the benefit of having power. You can route it as necessary. So, You go into this hub. You look around. It's the same setup as the first one, except that there is a ladder down. And as you go down, well, if you choose to go down, before you do, you look around and all the same tables are set up. And it's still slightly confusing, but he looks at them and they all look dead. And these ones are slightly different from the first ones. These ones, their circles are made of this almost plexiglass. And instead of having wires and things, it has literal hollow tubes. And as he goes around and looks at the tables, it's as if he's looking for a very specific item, if that makes sense. Trying to see if these tubes are filled, if you will.
He looks a little bit frantic, I have to say.
I wouldn't say he looks frantic. He's doing it calmly. He's walking to each one while keeping one eye above the table. He just takes one of the tubes, jiggles it a little bit, and if it's empty, he goes on to another table until you guys reach the ladder. And then he looks at all the doors to ensure they're shut, and then he waits for you.
What happens if they're not shut?
If they're not shut, something could be watching us. And if something's watching us, that could be a whole other problem.
Oh, you cut out, Blake. What was that last part?
All he said is, if they're not shut, you could be watched. And if you're being watched, that could mean other bad things, other issues.
Interesting.
There is more than just the two creatures. But there's too many to describe anymore. I sum them up into two. The ones to run from, and the ones to try and avoid, but not anything to be feared. And this keeps you sane enough to kill them, and focused enough to avoid them.
Alright. Well, we need to continue. If we stay in one place for too long, creatures might come in.
What'd you say, Harry? You cut out there.
Oh, I said that if we stay too long, creatures may come our way.
Agreed. After you.
And I'm heading downstairs, even further into the depths.
Alright.
Is there a ladder in the middle of the hub?
Yep.
Alright, yeah. As I thought. So yeah, I'm going to the ladder.
Yup. So, and like I said, all the way this facility is set up will make more sense the further you go.
No. It makes sense enough for me to comprehend the whole shit.
Yeah, it makes sense in a degree that it can, but the reason I mention that is you can't see in my brain, so you can't see exactly how I've set it up. But I've done it in a very, I'll definitely say I made it a good way. You'll have fun. So, you proceed down the steps of a ladder, and you're not sure why, but this ladder is like easily 100+ feet. It is a long fucking ladder.
My dick is long.
Not long enough to reach down this ladder, buddy.
Yep.
And as you start to descend into an entrance, it is even darker than it was up top. There's less red lights. There are a few cracked glow sticks here, which some still have life breathed into them. And that is your mainstay for seeing. But, like, you can only see a few tables when you know if the hub is set up the same as above, as this guy has proceeded to tell you, there should be easily at least 48-ish. Like, there's a good amount of tables here. Or supposed to be. You can only see maybe 12.
Even with my flashlight on?
With your flashlight on, you see a focused beam and can see a few more as you turn it, but it's a zeroed in light. It's supposed to aim down
Oh,
hallways.
I did get unconscious. That means the guy could have snapped off my flashlight.
He didn't mess with your flashlight. He
That
literally
means it's
just,
on.
yeah, like, he hasn't done anything. The only thing he did is you fell unconscious and you slumped in front of the door and he came and dragged you in. That's all he's done. He hasn't touched you past that. In fact, make me a scrutiny check.
Man, I sure do love making these 9 scrutiny checks. Okay, well,
Holy shit, Harry.
get my scrutiny checks.
So, wow, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect you to see. So, when you look and start to notice a pattern, and this is just for the whole duration of which you've been walking with him, he keeps a healthy distance from you. Like, he's a good 10 feet away. A solid 3 meters.
As everyone should be.
Well, I mean, not just in the militaristic way. Like in the, if you got caught, I could still run away way. And he has that head start. But
Man,
also
he'd be a
in
bitch.
the, no, he's smart, actually. It's really smart, but you'll
No,
figure that out.
I'm thinking in a way of a brute, alright? So, bitch.
Yeah, in a brute way, you would probably think him of a bitch, but you're not quite that dumb. He is keeping you a healthy distance out. Like, he didn't start down the ladder until you were nearly 10 feet down already. Then he started down the ladder. Which, even in a military setting, 10 feet, healthy enough if you're worried about grenades.
But grenades just fall down, so fucking...
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Even military units aren't this far apart. He's also probably quicker than he's letting on. I'll let that on. It looks almost as if he really wanted to, he could haul ass, but he makes it a point to go very slow.
Alright. No, he's going slow because I'm going slow. You gotta remember, I'm getting that -1 to that all my agility
Okay,
movements.
let me rephrase. He moves with bursts of speed, then proceeds to move extremely slow, but even slower than you at times.
No.
He's not moving in a consistent manner or way.
Well, I honestly, as Rex... Fuck, that's weird. Could care a little bit, but I never really face off against these things, and I am confident enough in my prowess of melee capabilities that I could either dome these bitches or incapacitate them enough where it could run away. Because if I try to run away at how slow I move, he could run away safety, and I'm gonna be dead like that fucking prison outbreak with TJ. But that's besides the point. Let's continue on.
So, you finally breach the bottom into the hub. You turn on your light and you begin looking around with your light. Make me an awareness check. And I want you are you looking for anything specific?
Well, I'm not really sure if I was supposed specific, but if I was, then I'd be listening to sound.
So, you. That's fine.
Oh,
Okay, so you don't see anything. Even if you could, your light is very focused, so it's very hard to scan, 150 feet with a flashlight that, yes, can look the full length of it from side to side, but also can only cover, like, maybe a max of a 3-foot radius at a time. So it's a little hard. But as you focus with your ears, you listen to the settling, you listen to your friend's breathing, you listen to your own breathing, and you just try to understand what's going on plausibly. And it's very eerily quiet. Even the settling that was happening above doesn't appear to apply as much here. It's
the
pleasant.
science.
You can roll Science. I will also point out that he pulls out a very similar flashlight to yours. The difference is it appears that his has a wider girth on it, so he can see like in a 9-foot radius, so it's a healthy beam. And the first thing he does, he flashes every one of the doors.
What the fuck you mean it's much girthier than me? I'm a very girthy man. I don't get a girthy flashlight to
Well, yours is
fucking...
also under the assumption that you might have to do something underwater, and so it's a more focused, so it can go farther. His is under the assumption that he'll only be in this facility. So underwater, his would have a lot less power. It's the difference between a torch and a lantern. You would have a lantern, he would have a torch.
But what if I could have both?
Well, might have to look.
Man, he looks pretty scrumptious at this point.
I don't recommend cannibalism, nor do I endorse it in this campaign, especially. So,
Alright, so what do I feel?
the watchfulness has intensified. Very much so. Just going down that 100 feet, the feeling of watchfulness has intensified tremendously. You can only imagine what at the center of this place would it feel like. You feel in the center it would be unbearable. But for now, you focus on the here and now. Thinking of the future only promotes anxiety, and a well thought out acolyte will do his best not to. So, you feel the watchfulness. You feel in the directions. You feel that oceanic pull. The facility ebbing and easing on you. And you focus beneath the waves once more to see what else is feel.
I'm not gonna go too far, otherwise I might end up like that sister battle sister.
To the north, which we will refer to as the north, it feels hostility. To the west, you feel intrigue. And to the east, you feel... I guess suicidal's going to be the word I use on that one. And then to the south behind you, you feel relief. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down in chat for you.
And mind if we end it here?
That we can do.
Because first of all, this would be a good ending point. Second of all, I need to take a piss break. And third of all, I'm just getting slowed down.
It's alright. There you go. So for now, we will end it. I need you to do two things. One,
Yes.
you get, for this session in particular, you are going to get 500 experience to spend.
All right.
And then I need you to. Can you make a copy of your character sheet? Do you have access to that? I don't know if you do or not.
I'm looking through it right now, seeing
Like,
how I can do such.
if if you click on your character sheet, then versus going to the character sheet, go to the first tab, then go to edit, like where you put in the picture and whose journal it is. Do you have the ability to duplicate it?
I don't see any duplication, so I'm gonna have to say no.
Okay, so I did it for you. And the copy of Rex Ryan, I want you to add 4,000 experience to that character.
Now 4,500.
Nope, 4,000.
Uh,
So
I'll do this
the
tomorrow.
this copy should have 5,000 total. The character you're playing, the normal Rex, should have 1,500. And we will play this again definitely sometime. Either
1,500? I thought I had 500.
yeah, I said total.
Oh, all right,
Yeah,
got it.
500 on top of the 1,000 you've spent, and then your copy should have 5,000 total, which means you've
All right.
spent 1,000 and then you have 4 more to fuck with.
Yeah, I put that in their bio info so I could literally get back to this.
Yeah, and if you need help, let me know, and be sure to have it done, preferably by next week. So if we do decide, let's go ahead and fuck with this next week, which I would like to for my POV. So next Friday, hopefully.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it Friday, but since we didn't do it yesterday, we could surely, like, let's have it scheduled on Fridays because then we could have Saturdays mainly for gaming. You know? Would that be fair?
Yeah, we can
Alright.
honestly, in the end, I don't mind.
You don't mind what?
I don't mind how we schedule it. I just want to have it be a little consistent. Enough that
Um,
if people really enjoy this, it can be watched on a semi consistent basis. At least twice a month or once a week is kind of my idea.
Alright, but I really gotta take a piss, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. I'll be right back.
Okay. And for anyone that hopefully watches this, that'd be cool if you guys did. Um, you can subscribe to me. Then my bro has a channel. You can subscribe to both. We do these streams once a week. Well, twice a week. Mine's once a week because for my POV, and then once a week on his POV. And we do them Friday, Saturday, back to back. and we do these streams that way. You guys can watch from his perspective for games, or you can watch from my perspective for games. But versus doing both, it takes the pressure off. That way, I can be a head ass on my time and not feel horrible about it. And this is very out there for what you guys have seen so far. If you've watched a lot of what we've done the past few weeks, because this is what we used to always do and really enjoy, and then we got old. Even though we're not that old. I'm only 19. It's whatever. But so yeah, this is something we genuinely enjoy to do. And if you guys want to see more, you always can let us know in the comments below. After this video goes up, or in the comments right now, because live stream, you're allowed to do that. Other than that, thank you guys for watching this. If you did, I know it's very different from what we normally do. So yeah. Other than that, I'm sure we're gonna keep her going here. And my love of my life, because I know you're watching, I love you. I love you so much. And I appreciate you doing this for me, because I know you didn't have to. Yup. You guys can just listen to the creepy. Well, I guess it's a session and I don't need to keep creepy music on. Yeah. Also, if you guys want longer sessions, that's all the other things you can talk about. Other than that, I should preface that, for example, if it's content that you recognize and either we don't know that we're using it or we are using it and it's an inside joke or whatever, I want you guys to know that all the rights that belong to them go to them. And even if I like having people watch and I want people to watch, I don't expect money out of this. I don't really care to have money out of this. I do this for fun with my buddy. Because we're head asses at night. We like people getting to see being that, because my goal, at least, make people laugh, make their day better, makes me feel better. So, that's why I do it. So, yeah, just a quick disclaimer on that. Other than that, hope you guys are really enjoying this content. I really do. Because it is, it's different. I mean, I know they've become more and more popular, but it's still out there for different people, so. Sup, Eric?
Man, you're talking to your viewers, your poggers, like people.
To my broskies. Yeah.
I spit on you.
I spit on you. So, Harry, did you have a good first session?
I'm paranoid. As do all hell.
Have I successfully spooked you?
I mean, yeah. You know, I think that's why I have fucking paranoid problems, because literally there's multiple nights whenever I'm alone, I get extremely paranoid as if someone is watching me, and I want.
Well, I think what also has to be prefaced, understood, is I love doing horror GMing. I really do. It's probably my favorite thing because action is cool, but there's no real suspense other than maybe when someone's about to die. I like fantasy GMing, but I don't like the happy worlds attached because everyone's happy go lucky. And I'm like, that's cool, but I believe happiness should be found even in a horror setting. So everything I actually enjoy is done from a horror standpoint. If you can find light in the darkness, then you have succeeded in a horror setting. Which is
I,
why in the last campaign when we did this, I gave every character to some degree a light to focus on, a happiness to enjoy. And even if by the end it was all ripped away, it was there. It existed, even in this world.
quick question.
Uh huh.
Does the toughness, do I add that to my soak? Like, for armor, for example, armor and defense.
Yes. The issue is the way you should do it is you have your armor as an independent value and then have your toughness in an independent value. And the reasoning's because pen does not apply to toughness, but it does apply to you taking the damage. So let's say you have 8 armor, something has pen 8 and does 8 damage. Well, your armor gets negated by the pen, or let's say you have 4 armor and it's pen 8. The armor is reduced to nothing, it's reduced to ash. But your toughness does still soak that damage, because it's not as if a knife can stab you more just because you don't have armor. No, if a knife breaches the armor and is stabbing you, you are going to be stabbed exactly the same. Because toughness is really built around your skin has calluses on it, your muscles can somehow twist and twine more, that sort of a thing. So, that is the deal.
Interesting. Where's the chart where I could increase my psi rating?
Your psi rating, alright, so it costs XP, and the way you do it is, and it's literally the only place you find that out, is under the Psyker Elite Advance. So let's say you want to go to psi rating 2. It is your next level of psi rating, in this case 2, times 200 experience. So it would cost you 400. To get to 3, it would cost you 600, and so on and so forth. And psi rating is useful for in the terms that obviously there's some abilities that you can only get with the higher ones, but the real beauty of psi rating is that you still can choose where to put it, and you can also choose to push it. Because, like, if you use under your psi rating, you actually get bonuses to using the ability. And if you go...
Yeah, like plus 10.
Yeah, and then if you're at psi rating 5, you can actually push 2, which automatically incurs psychic phenomena, but in turn, you're casting it at psi 7, which obviously you can't do, because you can only go plus 2, so right now your max push would be psi 3. Which guarantees psychic phenomena, practically.
Yeah, unless if I roll doubles.
Yeah. So, it's definitely really cool. I love the way they did psychic powers, because it's just effectively a willpower check. And I like that better than the other one, where you throw 1d10 and then you add your psi bonus, your psi rating, and you try to hit whatever it is. So, like, if it was the ability 8, then you would have to roll 1d10 plus, let's assume your psi rating 3, you would have to roll a 5 or higher. And I don't know, I was just never a fan. Because
then people say like psi rating 5 are most likely guaranteed.
Yeah. The issue is it actually eventually gets higher. Like, you would need a perfect 10. I don't know, I just never was a fan of that method. I always preferred using willpower because it also gives you an incentive to increase your willpower, which in turn increases your ability to do other things, which I've always enjoyed.
Here's my willpower. Likely.
So,
Actually, that could be the thing that I need to do, though. No, I know what to fix.
yeah. If I was you, I would use the 500 experience to I would either save it, use it on psi rating, or bind to some fucking scrutiny.
That's what I'm thinking.
I would,
Scrutiny.
yeah, because scrutiny is the ability to notice detail, while awareness is the ability to use your five senses, right? Which is why when you were walking, looking for specific signs of I'm about to get effed, I had you look for scrutiny because you're more focused on maybe a tripwire. Plus, I forgot awareness was the thing for a second, so that wasn't fun. But
I know I get negatives with awareness.
yeah, and then when you started walking the other way, I was like, just awareness. So I hope I properly spooked you.
No, man, you fucking got me paranoid again. Fucking hate being paranoid.
Well, what can I say? Half the fun in games is sometimes getting the shit scared out of you.
Nah, man, you just a dick.
That's also true. But I don't know. I think out of every game I've hosted, the first time I ran Dark Heresy 2E was definitely the best. Because I think it combined fear with human. Because the fear didn't. The fear stemmed from mortality, not just something's coming for me. I should hide. No, it was I can die. And the threat of death is constantly there. And it won't leave, right? And I think this one is back to more the RE, the Resident Evil version of horror, especially with the more recent games of not, oh, I can die at any minute, because that much is fucking obvious. But it's coming. Something's coming. And especially in a few of the games, it's I don't know what the fuck it is. And fear of the unknown, like H.P. Lovecraft said, is the greatest and most powerful fear that humankind has ever experienced and probably will ever experience. Because once you learn something, you analyze it, so on and so forth.
And then you're not afraid of it because you know its behaviors.
Yeah, you understand it. And the moment you understand it, you're no longer afraid of it. But I also think that's why 40K...
Well, the fact that it could kill you, no, it could kill you, but still.
Yeah.
It could be like fucking, I don't know, someone that has superhuman, like Superman powers, and it looks like a death claw, and that shit's terrifying, but you don't know that, so your mind just thinks of whack out shit.
Yeah. So, and I hope this was a really good, like, first taste for you. Because this is kind of how I want to take this campaign. I really want to take you in a fear trip. Because I want you to start thinking of how you want your abilities to work. I want you to think, how do I really, versus how do I investigate the endeavor? How do I save myself from what's actually coming? Because, and the reason I'm so hard on that is I want to go back from what goes around, what starts, finishes in the same place, and a light in the dark, and generally the morality and mortality of the first campaign. And in this campaign, I want to bring it back to primal fear and the ability to combat it. with a few other fun little quirks added. Like, there's going to be more things. Just like in the first campaign, it's not going to be focused around just this or just that. But it's going to be a little more focused around that idea. But I'm also going to challenge your morality in the sense of what's worth it, what's not, who's worth it, and who's not. So, yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you this, equipment won't be as plentiful as it was in the first campaign, but it also won't be
What the fuck do you mean? You're talking to a dead champion, right?
Well, what I'm saying is in the first campaign, by the time you hit like 5,000 experience, I threw a bolter at you. In this one, it's gonna be like, they exist, they're around. I'm not gonna tell you where or how, but they're there.
You threw a chainsword at me. You think I need a bolter? No.
No, but I'm sure you would love a power sword.
I would definitely love that, yeah.
Yeah, but that has to be earned.
This is why I'm relying on psychic abilities for power.
Yeah.
Because fucking molten lava, whatever the fuck that is, molten beam, could fucking overpower a chaos space marine any day.
Yeah. I don't know, it's pretty strong, but 22 wounds at a base of 8 plus toughness plus power armor. They're pretty durable.
So you're saying that the first time I actually went against a chaos space marine it was already wounded, and
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Man, I felt cheated. I thought I did that. I was pretty proud of myself.
I felt that my campaign was cheated when TJ decided to orbital bombard 3 locations that he was personally supposed to go handle and investigate. So, it's fair. And I felt cheated that I had an interesting character to play with, and then TJ let them die in a fucking prison. I'm talking about your character, by the way.
I know.
I was so excited for Eldrazi. I had everything.
It fucking hurts.
Dead. Fucking dead.
It fucking hurts. You don't understand how tilted I got. It's like, if I fucking wanted to create a character that was out for TJ's character, that was so fucking to the books, that might as well be an Ultramarine.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I was also really proud of you in the very end when you didn't side against him just to tell him to fuck off, but you did something that you know your character would do. And I was very happy and very proud of you in that moment. So, yeah, eventually this campaign will also start having effects, because if you recall from yesterday when we started making your character, I told you that you are half of the story. The other half will be affected by the other player for the same setting. And that will also make more sense the deeper and farther you both go, because you guys will affect each other differently. And it won't be as simple as I press switch, something explodes on the other side, but that is more or less kind of the idea. And I kind of wish you could see the way the facility looks in my head, because I think you'd be really fucking happy with it. But I can't, describe it right now, otherwise how the navigation and everything works will kind of get ruined. So, for the time being, I have to keep it a secret, but I think you will really enjoy it later on.
Alright, well, here's gonna be the thing. Alright, so I think I got a little bit of scrutiny going on. That fucking took out most of my points, not gonna lie, because I had zero attributes going for that, so 300 experience is already down the drain. However, to make up for that shit, I am going for Frenzy, just in case if shit goes sideways and I had a fucking
So you can
go
go
balls to the
sideways.
wall. Yeah.
Shit goes sideways, I go sideways. I got you. But
Because we all know that man as soon as shit goes sideways.
I'll tell you this. Um, half the reason I'm really happy I had it split up versus having 2 players, but 1 player and 1 NPC per half. Because I will go ahead and throw that out there. And I even slightly mentioned it. Was because that way you guys can't lean on each other necessarily. Because half of the horror aspect is you're by yourself to some degree. Or you
No.
might as well be alone.
See,
Because
if I have it my way, I due to the fact that if I get my character powerful enough, I would literally take down the whole hive if I have to. Just with a chainsword in hand and dick in the other.
yeah,
I will fuck them over.
I think what really adds to this horror aspect, though, like genuinely, is the fact that hell, you don't even know if you can trust this guy. That's how like dark and deep it is. The only reason right now that you know he's trustworthy is you handed him a pistol and he didn't blow your brains out, and
No,
that is
he's losing my trust, man. He's losing my trust. Being fucking 3 meters apart, that's enough to blow my fucking brains out. Especially with the last pistol.
1 meter apart. What you mean? It doesn't matter the
Fucking
distance. Last
I'm slow
pistols.
as fuck. 3 meters give him major advantage due to the fact that if I try to catch up to him, he just gets more distance away from me.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing on that though. I did kind of reveal it, and I both said it in game, so I don't mind saying it now. He's smart enough to keep distance from you, and also have you go first, because at least if it comes after him and he can actively see it, he knows which direction to run. Or if he hears you die, he knows what direction to not go towards. So, yes, he's willing to help you and to some degree protect you, but he's not your bodyguard. He's not even really your friend. He's your temporary ally until you're another corpse. And then he's back on his own, which he's already to some degree probably accepted. And it's not like that's a big story change, or like if you understand how I described him, it makes perfect sense. I mean, he already had to cauterize his own jawline.
No, you don't understand, mate. That's exactly how it's gonna go down. You know why? Because it fucking always happens.
The other thing, though, is he's also not so dumb as to absolutely, like, first sign of trouble dip, because just because there's a fight occurring, sometimes it's better to go through the fight and know you have someone you can rely on, or
No,
than absolutely dip, because
no, that's
if
not what
you
I'm talking
die,
about.
he's back to being alone again.
No,
So,
that's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is my fucking skills fail me whenever I need them the most.
it's
It
also,
always happens. You know that this happens.
especially at the earlier levels, it's really rough on you. But that's also why for the first session, I gave you 500. I'll probably dumb it to 250, because I kind of want this campaign to last a little bit longer. So, I'll probably have it last for definitely, probably 12 plus weeks, for sure.
Yo,
Um,
can I do an Overwatch with a Smite?
Technically, yes. Because there's nothing in the rules that say you can't, and I say that you can by the means of you gather the power to do so, but you wait to release it until necessary. The issue is I also throw that it's very harmful because you're holding in warp stuff. And warp stuff's already hazardous to a psyker and a
Warp
normal
Spunk.
person. Yeah.
Warp Spunk. In
Yeah.
my dick.
Yup. Make your head explode. Both of them. So, yeah. That is going to be an interesting and fun campaign, I feel.
Hold on. What the fuck is this bullshit? It says standard attack, half action, attack, melee, or range, plus 10 to weapon skill or ballistic skill, make one melee or range attack. What the fuck?
Don't worry about it. I'm not going exactly to that chart because that chart's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
otherwise I could literally hit something and then do smite at the same time.
well, that chart it is actually prefaced in the rules that you can't do two attacks as a half action. So even though you have two, you can't swing twice. Um, and I prefer, and I'm kind of mixed baggage about it. Because in one spread, if they want to use both their half actions to do two attacks, that should be their business. But then they also give you a lot of early on attributes like Swift Attack and Devastating Assault and all that, that lets you attack more than once in just a half action. And
Or
so,
I could just use smite twice.
well, like, melee and ranged honestly take damage if you get the right perks for them. Because nothing against Psychers, but would you rather do maybe 2d10 plus 5? Or do a bolter salvo and get off like 4 different rolls of 2d10 plus 5 pin 4?
You know, honestly, Blake, to be fair, I'm already fucked as is, just being slow as fuck.
Well, see, in this
So,
campaign, being a Psycher's better, because like I told you before, your ammo, and I tried to show you more with this guy as well, your ammo might as well not exist. And
because how fast it depletes.
yeah, which is also why I'm glad you went ahead and took a melee kind of a version, because even if you run out of fuel on your chainsword, which don't worry, I'll let you know
I
when
could
it
still
does,
bash with it.
yeah, it's still rips and tears. It's still a good melee weapon.
And even if my chain sword breaks down, I will use my bare hands and start fucking electrocuting people with my bare hands. I'll fucking rip down their throat, electrocute the heart, make it jump a couple times, possibly get them cardiac arrest. Who knows?
So, yeah, that is kind of my general, not synopsis, but expectations for how I would like the campaign to go. I'm definitely gonna have to be really careful about gear because a power sword or a bolter can really make all the fucking difference. Because one round of a bolter makes a heck of a lot more holes than one round of an auto pistol. So, some I'm gonna have to work on.
I know for one thing, I need to get my willpower up to 50 so I could get warp conduit.
Warp conduit's really good. Um,
Oh yeah, by the way, do my fate points reset now?
yeah,
Or
at the end of every
uh,
session, you can go ahead and restore them unless we're in the middle of an encounter or engagement, or we're trying to stay in the same scene but simply shift. For now, I'll tell you when you can't. Otherwise, just assume that yes, you can restore your fate.
okay.
With the other half of that being keep your fate handy, because that will also be a really big deciding factor of whether sometimes you live, sometimes you die, sometimes you hide really well, sometimes maybe not so much. But also don't be quick to burn it, because you never know when there might be a time that you need it. You use one, and then you end up needing two because you get stuck in one encounter, but we have to end session. And so you only have one when you need two. So be sparing with it, but don't be boring with it. Does that make sense?
Well, what does fate even do per se?
A lot. It depends. The most common use is that you can reroll any roll other than damage die with Fate. It's any ability or skill check. And you can even re-roll a re-roll. Though it's generally discouraged because you only get a maximum of like 5 or 6 Fate, depending on backgrounds
How
and
do I
shit like
get
that.
more than? How do I get more faith than what I have right now? Because
How much do you have?
I got 3.
Yeah, it
I
depends.
I got Shrine World. I thought I'd get more faith just by being in the background. Yeah, home world of Shrine World.
You do. There's a few other homeworld backgrounds that give you 3 as well. But like it depends on the GM. It depends. I think there's other ways, but I have to remember.
I need to find this way. I need to find more ways to increase my fate.
3's a good
Cool.
number. 3 will
Yeah, but I
probably
really
keep
want
you alive.
5.
I'll tell you this. The way I always do it is the first fate, don't give a shit what you use it on. Use it for something you feel is important, but don't necessarily even need to know it's important. The other 2, you want to save till you know it's important. Because those 2 will save your life in a pinch. The first one, if you really want a piece of information, that might be a lot more worth it than succeeding on a stealth check. Which is also true. If you're trying to close a door, why would hiding be more important than tech use? So, judgment
Honestly,
for Fate's going to be really hard on this one.
it's all about survival in the end.
The name of the game is survive. And just like the name implies, you're trying to survive. Because if you don't survive, your objective's meaningless to begin with. So,
What? Lumen Blast?
it's something for Tech Priests, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, so Tech Priests can get augments and things, and then they have their own little tech tree. Like, they even have do a tech use chest, and you can restore 1d5 wounds. No Medicaid check on top of it, just a tech use, because they can get implants for that. So you can really have a combat Tech Priest that's extremely tanky, and like genuinely can go toe to toe with Space Marines and shit. They're pretty ridiculous. The issue with them is they also have no warp capabilities. They're not really warp sensitive at all. So that sometimes that can suck for them because, like, I don't mean to be a dick, but you can't invigorate a Tech Priest because it invigorates biomancy, not technomancy. And if you're 99% metal, that really sounds like a you problem. Though there are people that can also get the auto sanguine trait. Just generally it's reserved for Tech Priests, but you know, if there's a story reason you can get it, then you can benefit from it while still benefiting from your psyker shit because it's just little nanobots that do cool shit. Well, no. One other thing I'm trying hard to do in this campaign is genuinely make a few homebrew things that you can enjoy properly. Because, like, the Demon Sword, it was a good hook that TJ never utilized.
A what?
TJ had a Demon Sword last campaign that he never really utilized. And it made me so upset. And then I gave... Colleen was a straight up demon. But it was never explored because she chose to never explore it. Which was fine, except they were going down radical paths but then weren't utilizing the radical means. You give somebody the power of hellfire and they use it to start a fucking campfire. I swear to God.
But I won't. Please give me something. I need help. I don't want to be scared anymore.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you might get something, you might not. You have a whole facility as your playground. which is big enough to house like 500,000 plus people. And that's just what's needed to run the facility. That's not counting any additional personnel they decide to keep. Because, like I said, it's effectively like a third bigger than the Grand Valley. It's huge. What you're in right now is effectively like Grand Junction, which currently houses 70,000 people. It's a lot of space to work on. Especially when there's things trying to kill you. The other part that I'm trying to hit home, better hints, because apparently my hints last campaign weren't very good. So I'm trying to make better ones.
Well, you know me with hints.
Oh
They'll
yeah, I
just go
know.
over my head.
Oh Harry, I already know. I did one this campaign, and you just whoosh, whoosh. And I'm like, alright, I guess it's fine.
Alright. Are you over it?
Well, not permanently. You can always go
Oh.
back.
Alright, well then don't tell me what the hint is then.
Yeah. I'm not going to be honest, I'm surprised you didn't get hung up on the crates, because when you first started playing pen and papers, you would get hung up on the littlest shit. It's a box, must search. Yes, because you need 4,000 screws to search through. I'm not even shitting you. If you open those crates, it would have been like, this one's screws. This one's bolts. This one is nuts. Oh, that one? That one's washers. Like, I straight up would have done that to you. Hands down, so fast. Because they are needed supplies.
Alright, I've seen enough around here. Enough Heresy's been going around. Let's get out of this place and glass the whole planet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't have that sort of power. I'm also surprised.
TJ did?
Well, TJ did because I gave him a fucking light cruiser, and that was a mistake. And I had this discussion with TJ. By giving him a ship and active resources, he abused them. Which, it's fair. I gave him those resources. That's his choice. But when I give you 4 separate locations to work on and discover, and he glasses 3 of them because he doesn't want to deal with them, it defeats the purpose of why I wrote a campaign to begin with. There were supposed to be enough to be 1 to 2, maybe at most 3 individual sessions. That way he would go and solve the issue. And then he sent his underlings on 1, glass 2, and only dealt with 1 of them. And it's funny, because then I talked to Dad about my problem, and you know what he said? Just kill it all off. And I'm like, I genuinely thought about it. I really did. But I didn't for a reason. Because I wanted you guys to get attached if I were to ever do that. And there was no attachment, because to him they were useless automata. He never got close to any of the shit I made him. Like, he didn't even get close to his captain, Rufulus, who commanded 99% of his horses. And that's why, at the very end, they turned against him. Because he didn't do shit. You didn't get to know him. He used his servitors for most of everything when he had active combat veterans that could have done shit flawlessly. No, let's use the robots. And I'm like, the fuck's wrong with you? You'd rather use stubbers and robots versus bolt shells and pinpoint accuracy and actual battle plans? And he didn't give a shit about any of them, so they ended up betraying him in the very end. But not in a bad way. They just took his ship so he wouldn't blow it up.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it. That's all that happened. You were there that session. He tried to use his ship and they took it. They made Ari their captain. Ari left with them. She came back years later to finish her hunt. To find Eleanor impaled on Luna's now demonic claws. And that was the last hunt that you ever, not literally see, but, you know, figuratively see.
Yeah. And I think that was the one where fucking what's his nuts? I forgot his name.
Anarchus?
No, not Anarchus. Anarchus could suck my nuts with his fucking mind. Um,
I mean, when you spend the better part of a decade in the warp, you learn a few tricks. So, and that's what he used against you, was the fact that he wasn't completely human, but he wasn't completely turnt yet. If he had succeeded in that fight, the epilogue would have been very different.
would have been buried.
It would have been very different. The original epilogue ended with a huntress finding her prey, with all the other characters more or less finding happy-ish endings. As happy as they can be. If
None of my characters got
Anarchus...
happy endings.
I know, I kind of felt bad. Anarchus's ending, if he had won, there would have been an active warp invasion as he fully converted, and eventually Luna would have been his... not better, but she was more demon than he was. So she would have ascended to be a demon prince or princess, I guess. I don't know what the fuck you'd call him. And he would have just been a demon altogether. And it would have been really, like, it would have been a very depressing ending. But no more depressing than what 40k already is. Because a twin star event was warpish in nature to begin with. And if Anarchus had won, it would have turned into a warp rift. But he lost, so it doesn't matter. Instead, it was just a huntress finding her mark and finishing a fight that was started 20 years ago. Which I should also preface that this campaign actually takes place the 20 years later, the 20 years after the first campaign. So it is in the same universe. The Twin Star event did happen. All that good shit. So...
Well, good, I guess.
It means you can still plausibly, to some degree, somehow, very randomly, but not really, run into characters or their stories. Like Ruthless, even though he's older, they have capabilities to make fake Marines, which are, like, not as strong as normal Astartes, but are strong enough in their own right. And he had 73 other warriors with him. I think it's 73. Could have been like 58 or some shit. I don't remember. I pulled numbers out of my ass sometimes. But he had nearly half to a full company with him. I remember that. So that is nearly a whole company worth of fake Marines they could have made with him. Under the right circumstances, their stories could be endless. Especially because they were then under the Inquisitorship of Audrey's mom. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I have it. Where is it? Bop. It would have been... Damn, where is it? Where's her mom? Does she... I don't know if he did that. No, I don't think he wrote it down. Lame. Yeah, it looks like he didn't do it. But, what was his name? It began with an I or something. They were then under their inquisitorship, and maybe even split up between the inquisitorship of Griselda and Hildy, so they could have, like, 20 to 30 fake Marines under their commands, which, regardless of what you're doing, that's a significant force. Especially because they had the intelligence and quite a few of the organs of Astartes, but then fell short halfway through. So, like, they're 7 foot tall, they're bulky as shit, but they can't put themselves in suspended animation. They can't eat the brain of someone to gain their abilities. But they sure as fuck can bench press a tank. They can still spit acid. Like, they have quite a few of the organs necessary to make a Space Marine. But then they were given up halfway through but they can still be strapped in power armor, given bolters, which they already had bolters, just not power armor, and turned into the equivalent monstrosities therein. So there's a lot that can be done. And their stories will have an end at some point, but not till I'm done with them. Which who knows when that will be.
Alright.
Yeah. Which, if Eldorazi had survived, I would have loved to give him an Adeptus Astartes cruiser. Or not Astartes, Adeptus Arbites. Because sometimes they have to deploy en masse onto a planet to attain order and all that. Oh, and I would have loved if he'd become like a High Marshal in the Adeptus Arbites. I don't remember what they call him, but like someone who allocates those resources, who controls what planets gets what. Like if he had his own little army, but in the span of still Adeptus Arbites, like he never even dealt with Inquisitors after that. He just said fuck that and just went back to normal policing. I think that would have been awesome.
Isn't Eldorazi a fucking psyker though?
No, that's Orion.
Oh.
Eldorazi was Adeptus Arbites. He was effectively a cop.
Oh yeah, that fucking had two weapons that
Yeah.
he dual wielded.
He had 2 shock moles, and he could do like 4 to 6 strikes a turn, and he was an absolute monster if he had time to grow and been nurtured. And he could
Nope,
have.
somebody had to trip me.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think TJ tripped you. I think you fell.
Nope, TJ tripped me.
But I'll tell you what was true.
He
never came back for you.
I fell. You know, I lied. I fell. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm really, really happy that we started this again. That I grew a pair to GM a good Dark Heresy campaign again.
Yeah. Wanna try end the night?
Try what?
Wanna try end it with a game?
You keep cutting out. I heard game.
Wanna try to end the night with a game?
I might go to bed because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. I have to open the store.
Well, darn.
Yeah, I'm working openers on Sundays, and I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I have to learn how to open the store, and then after that, I have to perfect how to close the store, slap pizza, and live a good life. And then I'll be working closers probably 4 nights a week if I had to hazard. But it's not gonna like interfere with any of this. I'm not gonna give them these days. You fucking kidding me? Fuck no.
Yeah.
I would like to either get Thursday or Thursday or Sunday as a third day off. I think that'd be cool.
I would like Sunday for you, but at the same time, it's your choice, not mine.
I would prefer Sunday, but I wouldn't mind Thursday. So, either or would be significant for me.
Alright.
But I really hope you really enjoy this. But
I'm gonna be staying up a little bit later tonight and do the fucking nightmares.
You're welcome. Don't worry, I haven't even gotten to the proper gory and horrific shit yet. That comes later.
I think I'm gonna watch the Come Zone just to keep my mind off that shit.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
Alright, well. Have a good night, my guy.
Have a good night, and to all the people that watched tonight, or didn't watch tonight, or comes back and watch, I appreciate you guys coming out, listening, having a good time, I hope. If you didn't enjoy my GMing, sucks to fucking suck. If you did enjoy it and would like to see more, I've already told you earlier how to do it. Um, and like I said, this is the free mile portion. So, nice. And if you don't like this kind of shit, wow, really sucks to be you. Um, and then Harry does his POV normally on these nights, which I don't know if he's going to keep streaming. If he does, his is the Lonesome Mile, and I hope you guys go over and watch him have a good time for the rest of the night. I, however, have shit to do, so. That being prefaced, that is it for me for tonight. I hope you all have a fantastic night, and see you later.